drama.
I'm gonna have to turn the motor off if it gets too hot.
Yeah.
Make sure you let this out.
They'll let you go.
They are?
They'll let you go.
Okay.
Well, welcome to a totally different automotive adventure today in Automotive Adventures with Austin. Today, I am up at Mid-Ohio. We are here on a Thursday, which would be a work day for most of you normal schlubs. But Gridlife is in town, which means this track is getting ready to take over by all the shenanigans that is the rolling circus of Gridlife. And, as you can see me filming there, our friend Norm is here. Storm and Norman, with his GAA Cosworth powered Ford Capri. He's out here doing a couple of test laps just to see what's going on. Clutch and transmission upgrades have been recently done, so I wanted to get out here and get a little bit of filming done with him. And then he and I are gonna have a conversation about the state of racing as he sees it, since he's actually in it and I'm just talking about it. So stay tuned, this should be fun. As this is Thursday, these are practice laps, warm-up laps, testing laps. So, well, yes, they are driving at speeds. This is not competition day. So everybody's trying to sort things out. Actually, one of the vehicles that you're gonna see running around the track, we actually just had it in the shop yesterday to help do some tuning while I was on our chassis dyno at the shop. So this is not a competition day. This is not a me covering Gridlife kind of thing. It's just some fun footage at the racetrack, because that makes everybody's life better. I'm gonna guess, since I haven't seen a little amazing Cosworth powered Capri come by, the testing is not going quite as we had hoped today. This is why you test. It occurs to me that some of you may not actually know what in the world Gridlife is. So, well, welcome to Gridlife Practice Series. It occurs to me some of you probably have no idea what Gridlife actually is. So, welcome to Gridlife. This is a road racing series that has a lot of different elements to it. You have spec racers, you have time attack cars, you have door-to-door racing. And the neat thing is it's very entry level. It's something that a reasonably normal person could actually get involved in. You don't have to be a privateer or a sponsored factory race team to be able to get involved in the Gridlife type thing. And the neat thing is they've got kind of something for everybody. So if you're not comfortable with door-to-door racing, you can do time attack, which you're still on track with other people, but you're racing against the clock. You're trying to set the best laps versus actually out there door-to-door racing and making sure that you are the first person to cross the finish line when the checkered flag drops. Gridlife has been around for a number of years, and it's really been a really big process of getting people back to road racing. As it got more and more expensive, this has kind of been a great way to get a younger generation involved in road racing. And it's also not just the race car stuff. There's actually drifting that goes on, and there's concerts usually that goes on. There's a whole party that happens at the paddock all the time on the weekends, and it's a whole weekend thing. So if you've never been to a Gridlife race, this is definitely something cool to check out if you're interested in this. This may be something for me to, in the reasonably near future, give it a try. We'll see what's in the future for me, what's in the cards. You never really know. But I would like to do some more road racing, and this is a reasonably attainable option. Now this is not just entirely a Gridlife day. This is actually a test and tune for any local racers that want to come out and do some laps and test things in the evening at Mid-Ohio. But it is obviously today is considerably more Gridlifers than not. Another thing that's really neat about Gridlife is you can tell by the wide range of vehicles that are involved in this kind of racing. It's really a power to weight racing kind of thing. So the guy that has the GT3 RS or the you know, extremely expensive car is not necessarily going to be the guy that takes the win home. It does require a heck of a lot of driving skill. It's not just a matter of who spent the most money wins. Now, undeniably, yes, that's also part of it. But that's not the entirety of the whole racing series. And it really is a great way to get into racing without spending, you know, a kidney and some other organs that you'd like to keep a hold of. That's our friend Colton, just drove by in the Escalade there. You're gonna see the Capri's already back in the trailer.
Hey, brother.
So how did testing go, Norm?
Sometimes you get the bear, and sometimes the bear gets you.
Yeah.
The bear got me today.
Yeah.
And it got me the previous time. So we have a pretty mysterious thing, and my gearbox guy thinks it might be a counter shaft that has some splines sheared off inside. Like it's not fitting on its, what would you call it, its sleeve. But we're guessing. He's had the box apart 3 times.
Oh.
Yeah. And he doesn't have the factory tools. He's doing the best he can, and he's an excellent gearbox guy. And it's just got him baffled. So, that's racing.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit happens, man. Right?
That's racing.
This is racing. That really is. I mean, those NASCAR guys, look what they spend, and their motors blow up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Shit happens.
Yeah. And that's why you test.
Yeah, right.
You weren't coming out here to go balls out and go for it.
Last weekend was $850 to race. This was $165.
Okay.
I'd rather find out on, you know, an off day like this, you know, than...
How far did you make it before it stopped being happy?
I could not... I could get into the gate for second and third, but there was no drive. Just a high-pitch whine. Something in the gearbox is not meshing. Or it's just spinning.
You just pulled off in the grass at that point?
Well, there is a... if you know the track, you kind of get familiar with where the access points are for the corner workers, and there happens to be a real nice one at the keyhole.
Gotcha.
So I just drove up here. I have first gear. So I drove up here in first gear. I mean, yeah, but, you know, yeah, it's just...
Next time.
Next time. Not the way, you know, you hope it would work out, but...
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anything's busted. Something is just not connecting. So I didn't hear any catastrophic noise.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It wasn't a shearing sound.
No, and it's not the clutch because I have first gear and I have reverse.
Yeah.
So it's inside the gearbox. Now I could ship the whole thing to San Marino, where there's a specialist on this on just this gearbox. But then I've had stuff disappear in overseas shipping, and I've been told by so many vintage racers, keep control of your equipment.
Sure.
Like, keep it in the U.S.
Well, especially when it's super rare stuff.
Right. And I'd rather have, I mean, at the end of the day, after a couple more of these, my gearbox guy will be the world's expert on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's kind of going to school on me.
Yeah.
But he's a gamer. He's into it, and, you know, I'm loyal. You know, so we'll see, Austin.
Well, this wasn't exactly how I wanted to have this part of the video go.
No, this is wah, 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 wah.
I had some friends that were on the pit wall that had the Civic hatchback that was out running with you
Yeah.
as well. And I
Gridlife guys.
Yeah, I noticed the Civic came by a couple extra times, and I went back and asked him. I was like, "Have you happen to seen a little blue and white Capri come by that I just maybe missed?" They're
like was he hidden behind a Camaro? Or?
No, didn't see him.
No. And
well, you're a champ about it.
yeah.
You understand how this goes.
Oh yeah. Right. It's not on fire.
Right.
It's not upside down in a pond.
Right.
Right.
Or in a wall.
Right. I don't have Cosworth aluminum scattered all over the engine bay. So,
yeah, we'll fight another day.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Hour and 15-minute drive for this. I feel a little responsible for your night.
I did get to see it leave.
Yeah.
And you hit the 1-2 shift. I got to see that.
Yeah. And then nothing.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
So
I went around the bend in second, and it was kind of sort of connecting, but it was like whining.
It seemed pissed.
And then all of a sudden, it just, like whatever was engaged just went into neutral. You know, so I don't know. Maybe the shifter's screwed up. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, can we at least take a peek at the car while you have it here?
Yeah, sure. I can roll it back out. Or
I thought it's up to you. We could film in the trailer.
You have enough light?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fine.
I need to get something cold.
Yeah.
Just for safety's sake, let me throw a strap on the axle here.
Sure.
Because
you need to see this car.
Well,
all right, so you have not seen one of these in person. I promise you, you have not. You may have seen one in pictures, but this is, as I understand this, a little bit of a rare car.
Yeah. It's a Trans Am, SCCA Trans Am Survivor. So the owner of Lime Rock Park, a Greek shipping magnate named Harry Theodorakopoulos, and Horst Queck flew to Ford of Germany to the racing department and bought 2 cars, this one and another one. The other one was destroyed in 1973 at Watkins Glen, and this is the survivor of the 2 cars. And what he did is he bought the FIA, like the cars they would run at Spa or Le Mans, which is called Group 2 back then. They bought 2 of these Group 2 cars, and then they Americanized them for IMSA GTO and SCCA Trans Am, which rules were almost identical. So, for example, in Europe, you had to have windows closed, and in Trans Am, you could take the windows and all the mechanisms and everything out. And that's just one example. There's several things that Horst Queck, who was the guy who ran Oscar Racing, which prepped this car, those are the kinds of things he did. But it still has a lot of the European equipment in it. For example, the roll cage, the wheel tubs, the transmission, the axle, the engine. In this case, they raced 2 different engines, and Horst at first started out with a Westlake V6, and then for the 74 season, they went to the Cosworth Ford Camp motor, and so that's why this car has a Cosworth is because it in IMSA and in Trans Am you could update and backdate within the same model.
Okay.
So it started out with a Westlake, which has 1 camshaft in the block, and then this is about 150 horsepower more than the Westlake. So obviously, running against the Porsche 911s, they needed all the power they could get.
Right.
And they qualified on pole a few times. They won a couple races. They did pretty well, but it was not a factory-backed team, so they did not. They weren't real deep on technical help from Germany.
Sure.
I mean, as you know, Henry Ford put a ban on racing. For Ford in the United States. And these guys, that's why they went to Germany to get this car, because they knew Dearborn would tell them no.
Makes sense.
So what they did is they kind of snuck this car into, like, under Ford's nose. They bought it from Ford, but they had it shipped to a British team, or at least the paperwork was shipped. So in essence, they bought it from Broadspeed, but Broadspeed never, as far as we know, took physical control of the cars.
So send the bills to that place and send the car to me.
That's right. And then the guys at Cologne could tell Dearborn, you know, Michael Cranifus that ran the racing program, he could tell Dearborn, I don't know anything about it. I sold those 2 cars to a British racing team.
Right. I don't know what.
And I can't control what they do. Right. So that.
Told like an arms control deal.
Exactly. So this car, like, really is kind of contraband, you know, for that period of time. Like, Henry would not have been very happy because it's a flagrant disregard of his corporate orders.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he shut the total performance program right down.
Right.
You know, and guys like Bob Glidden that were drag racing Fords, no more factory support, right?
Yeah.
You know. So
this is kind of unicorn chassis because there were only 2 and one died.
There were only 2 brought to America,
to the US. And then as far as
by this team.
Right.
There was another guy who brought one, a third one over, but it's back in Europe now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then as far as the Cosworth motor goes, that's kind of almost unseen on racetracks these days.
It is,
especially in the U.S.
Right. The historians say they made 200 of these kits. They were only homologated for Group 2 and therefore SCCA Trans Am and IMSA GTO, and also for Formula 5000, weirdly enough. And there was a British Formula 5000 series where a guy ran one of these and did win the series with this motor. But that's like really a strange thing. So we think what happened is about 75 or 80 of these got gobbled up right away in 74, 75 when Ford was still racing the Capris in Europe. But then I've heard that somebody in Malta, believe it or not, bought out the other 125 or so crate motors, kits that were unassembled, you know, block, 2 heads, all the you know, injection and all that stuff. And he petered them out over the next like 15, 20 years to various people that were going to use them in, you know, freak cars. There was a series called the Thunder Saloons in England, and there was a BMW M1 that had one of these motors, and there was a Skoda, you know, a Czechoslovakian, you know, that had one. So it went into like freak builds. And then my friend who in Cincinnati I used to go to the races with, he said, "Hey Norm, I got 2 of these, brand new in the crate." And I had been on him for 40 freaking years. Like back when I was in college and being a flagger here at Mid-Ohio and that kind of thing. That's when he told me. I've been working on him for 40 years. He finally relented. You know, like he's a black hole. All this stuff comes in and it never goes back out. But I said, "Hey man, I've got the car that would justify that motor."
That makes sense.
And he weakened. So this motor was built a couple of years ago out of a brand new kit.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
How many miles do you think are on this motor at this point?
Well, we measure it in hours. Okay, fair. And I would say race hours, about 10. About 10 race hours are on it. And the mean time between rebuilds is 20 hours. So about halfway through. Woo! And it's way cheaper to put in new rings and new band, right? Right. Like you could go past the 20. Right. But then... Yeah, right?
Just take it apart and do your maintenance.
Yeah. And the engine guy said, pretty reasonable to freshen it. Not so reasonable if you tag all 32 valves. Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not a really good idea. So.
Well, thank you for showing me this.
Sure.
I'm glad you brought it out. I'm glad I got to at least see you leave the pits.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the after pit part didn't go exactly how we wanted.
No. But we'll figure out the transmission. There's something that is just not meshing. So
That's racing, though.
Yeah, that is. You know, and you know, it wasn't going to get better.
Right.
I could stay out there and continue to, but then I was going to blow something up.
It's not going to wear in and then be happy.
No. So, discretion, the better part of valor in this case.
Absolutely.
And I said 32 valves. It would be 24, wouldn't it?
It's 4 valves per
6 cylinders.
6 cylinders. 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
It's one of those new maths. If you haven't seen.
Well,
Terrence
I'm thinking of my Coyote Mustang. That has 32 valves.
There you go.
So.
Well, this won't be the last time you see Norm. This won't be the last time you see the Capri. Hopefully next time
no.
it's going to be a little bit more enjoyable.
Yeah,
and we can hear this thing scream because it plays a beautiful tune. I promise you.
It really does. It sounds like an Indy car because essentially that's a 3/4 of a DFV.
Right.
So
we're going to finish loading this thing up, and then we're going to go, I believe, have steaks and beers.
For sure.
To drown our sorrows on the day.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to have a conversation about the state of road racing, specifically SCCA and what's going on. If you're interested in that kind of thing, I'm splitting that off into an entirely different video, but it will be the same Joe Schmo as you see here, just probably over beers and steaks. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, follow the next video. This is Automotive Adventures with Austin. It's my own little tiny YouTube process on my evenings and weekends and off time. I've known Norm for a number of years now. He provides our Capri parts for all of our Capri stuff at Lucor Automotive and is going to help us build another race car, bring another race car back to life.
And you fixed one of my street cars.
We did.
I love Lucor. They do great work.
There you go. Get a discount now.
That's
Thanks for the plug.
Absolutely.
Anyways, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Next video will be coming up here real short. It's going to be just to talk about SCCA, road racing, and what we see coming. So hopefully you enjoy it. Thanks for my quick little short video here at Mid-Ohio today. Take care. See ya.
Alrighty, man.
Easy peasy. The smells and sounds of a racetrack on a beautiful summer evening. Can't beat it.